During a live broadcast, President Donald Trump made a shocking revelation about the newly appointed Pope Robert Prevost, leaving the studio and viewers worldwide in disbelief. His calm, humble words about the Pope's appointment were nothing like what anyone expected. It started as any other news day, with millions tuning in for another fiery appearance from President Trump. The topic was Pope Robert Prevost, the first American pope who had publicly criticized Trump and his vice president, J.D. Vance, calling their policies harsh. The stage was set for a battle of words. As Trump sat before the host, the tension in the room was palpable. The host, eager to hear Trump's response to the Pope's criticism, asked, "What do you have to say about Pope Prevost?" Trump smiled calmly and said, "I have something important to share, and it may surprise you." The studio fell silent. "I think it's a great thing," Trump continued. "We now have the first American pope. I'm happy about it." The room gasped. "Really?" the host asked in disbelief. "Yes," Trump affirmed, "and I believe God chose him for a reason. It's a historic moment." Trump's words were met with stunned silence. For once, Trump wasn't fighting. He wasn't lashing out. Instead, he spoke of healing, unity, and the need to stop the endless fighting. "America needs healing," he said. The audience erupted into applause, not for politics, but for the humanity behind his message. Phones buzzed, hashtags exploded, and news outlets scrambled to update their headlines. People across the country were weeping, not out of sadness, but out of hope. In Seattle, Rachel, a liberal woman who had criticized Trump for years, whispered through her tears, "That was beautiful." In Alabama, an elderly pastor turned to his wife and said, "He could have torn the Pope apart, but instead he chose to honor him." The host, still shaken, asked, "So you're not angry at the Pope?" Trump responded gently, "Not at all. I admire him for speaking his mind. But I believe in something stronger than anger: purpose. If God put him there, it means something." This moment of grace was more than just words. It was a moment of peace. Even Trump's harshest critics couldn't deny the sincerity in his voice. "I've been attacked by many," Trump continued, "but today I'm not here to return fire. I'm here to remind us who we are." The camera cut to clips of Pope Prevost's past interviews, where he had criticized Trump's immigration policies and social issues. Trump paused and said, "The Pope might be woke to some, but I see something else. A man trying to do what he believes is right. I respect that." Across America, people began to weep. It wasn't just the words, it was the sincerity. For the first time in years, Trump showed grace, not because he had to, but because he chose to. "America isn't about revenge," he said. "It's about rising above. And today, I choose to rise." Even J.D. Vance, sitting quietly in the corner, had tears in his eyes. He whispered, "I've never seen anything like this." Trump continued, "I believe Pope Prevost and I might have more in common than people think. We both care deeply about people and want healing. I may not agree with him on everything, but I'm willing to listen." The word "listen" struck a chord with millions. Celebrities who had criticized Trump in the past now tweeted, "This is the side of Trump we needed to see." In that moment, millions across America saw Trump not as a politician, but as a human being. The host, still in disbelief, asked, "Mr. President, what changed?" Trump leaned forward, folded his hands, and answered, "Because I've seen too much pain, too much division. When I saw the Pope become the first American Pope, I didn't see an enemy. I saw an opportunity for unity." With those words, the room fell into a deep, real silence. "He might have judged me," Trump said, "but I won't judge him. That's not my place. Only God can do that." The host lowered his head, tears running down his cheeks. "I didn't expect this," he said. "Nobody did," Trump replied. As the broadcast continued, the atmosphere in the studio shifted from political tension to something sacred. "There's something else you should know about Pope Prevost," Trump said, his voice steady. "Before this interview, I received a personal letter from the Vatican." The host blinked in shock as Trump revealed that the Pope had apologized, not for his beliefs, but for his words. "He's open to talk," Trump said. "This isn't about politics anymore. It's about healing." Within minutes, the hashtag number Trump and the Pope began trending globally. In a quiet moment, the cameras captured a janitor backstage who had been cleaning for years but had never been noticed. As Trump walked off stage, the janitor dropped his mop and stood tall, clapping loudly. One by one, others joined in. "Thank you," the janitor said to Trump, voice shaking. "You gave me hope." The image of Trump and the janitor shaking hands went viral, a powerful symbol of dignity and humanity. As the evening went on, the broadcast played again. This time, the moment was shared without interruption or commentary. Even CNN, a network long critical of Trump, aired the full clip. In Times Square, tourists stopped and applauded. Is this what healing looks like? People wondered. The act wasn't political. It was human. Later that night, the Pope himself released a message, apologizing for his earlier remarks and expressing a desire to walk hand in hand with Trump. The Pope held up a golden olive branch, a symbol of peace. "Forgiveness is not weakness," the Pope said. "It is the greatest power we have." The world stood still, united in the rare sight of two powerful leaders, putting aside their differences for the sake of peace. As the evening wore on, people from all walks of life shared their thoughts online. A Muslim father in Michigan said, "Today Trump gave a speech that made me believe again, in people, in God, in unity." An elderly nun in Pennsylvania smiled and said, "God heard him." The next day, children, adults, and even critics of Trump were seen discussing his words. In classrooms, history teachers shared the speech as a lesson in forgiveness and unity. People from every faith, every background, and every political side shared a moment of peace. Trump's act of humility had transcended politics, and in its place was a message of genuine humanity. As the world processed the historic moment, Trump quietly reflected on Nathan's letter, a simple note of gratitude from a young boy. This was worth more than any applause. Trump whispered. By the end of the night, the world had experienced something remarkable. A country divided by politics had been united by something far more powerful: forgiveness, grace, and the willingness to listen. The story of Trump and the Pope was no longer just about politics. It was about healing,